The first month of 2025 is essentially over. I just recently turned 32, and I can't help but think about what my life as a musician has been like so far. When I go back in time, back in 2011, I decided to be brave and to start posting myself doing music. I would upload myself doing vlogs, performances, recordings, concerts, you name it. Anything that just had to do with anything I felt like sharing in regards to my music. I would upload myself on a weekly basis and sometimes even upload 2 or 3 videos a week. My subscriber count would go up and I would see the numbers get higher and higher. But then I realized I didn't want to do it alone. I wanted to do it with others so I could celebrate wins with them. So I started building Ventus Quintet, Cumulus Trio, Stratus Duo, and in one of these groups in particular, we would host master classes, recitals, and put together chamber orchestras where we would perform video game soundtracks, anime music, and original compositions. And quite honestly, it was a lot of fun. I would spend sleepless nights working on music because it was something that I really enjoyed doing, especially with the kind of music that we were performing. I spent a huge part of my life being a teacher, as most of us classical musicians end up doing. I still teach to this day, and my students now are really good for their age. I'm really happy with the studio that I've been able to build and to see how a lot of them have unfolded. I taught at many different high schools, and right now I am working with just one high school so that I don't overwhelm myself with a lot of things on my plate. There was actually a silly chapter in my life. I started a small music school, and I learned real fast that I do not like the business side of things, and I especially dread paperwork. So as you can imagine, that shut down real fast. I also started an orchestra in my city, thinking that if I do business outside of a school setting that I would enjoy it a bit more, but even then I still learned I do not like the business side of things and I do not like paperwork. So same thing, that didn't last. One by one, these projects I built, these things I gave so much of myself to, they all failed. And the hardest one to let go was the one that I spent nearly 10 years of my life pouring my heart into. I had to come to terms that not all parties wanted to continue, even if I wanted to continue. It was around this time that I wanted to set aside music. But then I was convinced by a really close friend to not give up and to continue creating, so I did, but this time going solo. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I would do well alone, or even if I could do well alone, but he believed that I alone was more than enough. I didn't even believe in myself, but I did it anyways. I went with it, and I branded myself as Strive, a word that I had been hashtagging my post for many years. From there, I would be making music videos, and he would help me make those videos. And not only with just that, but with other projects, giving me different ideas to help grow myself, to grow my brand. He was also a second set of ears for me in case I had any doubts of my plans or my opinions about things. Just about anything, he was the friend that I needed. And honestly, the best part of it was that when things were going well, I had someone I could share the good news with and not feel like I was bragging. For about a good year, Strive became my identity. Until I lost that friend. And the truth is, I didn't care if Strive continued or not. All I really cared about was having my buddy back. So I ended up letting go of Strive because too much was attached to it. So what now? I am Andrew Vang. I'm no longer branding myself as a word or a group. I am just me. I am the name I was born with. Where am I getting at here? I suppose when I think about the sheer amount of hard work musicians put in, I understand why we strive for excellence. The field is brutal. It demands practice, networking, performances, rehearsals, recordings, teaching. The list never ends. We push ourselves because we have to, because that's how we define success, or at least what we think success is. But what happens when life doesn't go as planned? What do we do when life outside our craft becomes overwhelming? What then? As primarily a wind player, I tell my students all the time to take big breaths for the sake of playing their instrument. But what I've learned is that we can't forget to take breaths for the sake of living. Now, I don't exactly know where I'm going from here. I've done so many different things in and outside of music that at this point, anything feels possible. And honestly, I don't know where I'm headed. And for once, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with accepting what I have now and moving forward with it. Yes, I still plan to push hard. I still strive. But no longer will I shame myself if I fall short. Because I'll know I did everything I could with what I had. So, if you're joining me on my journey, and wherever this journey leads, I'll share bits and pieces of it on my socials and on here, kind of like how I did it in the beginning, why I started in the first place as a soloist.